Hey guys, how you doing? Ronin Man here. Hey, I just recently cut something out of my life that was not good for me health-wise, and I added something that is fantastic, and that is yoga. So I've been getting into yoga. I think a lot of guys listening to this channel know I lift heavy weights, and I love fucking lifting heavy. And I've also found that yoga is absolutely fucking fantastic. You know, it's really helps me to feel, I can't even describe it. You know, it's one of these things that's like, it's so deep that you can't even like put it into words. It's something really worth trying. But I warn you about yoga, it's not easy, man. Especially if you're like me and you're not flexible. It's like, you feel like it's hopeless in the beginning, you know? And I mean, like, you don't just feel, I mean, you look like it's hopeless too. Like, you look like an idiot. You know, you can't, not to mention doing the poses well. Like, I couldn't even do the pose, you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, you're supposed to do your leg up on the other leg, and then bend down and touch the, you know, I can't even touch the ground, not to mention on one leg and bending down, you know. But the thing is what happened was I started it about 3 months ago, at the same time as I cut this other thing out of my life that was not healthy. And what's happened is it's been fantastic because you know, I think the biggest lesson I've learned from this, the biggest lesson is, like, yoga really felt hopeless to me. I'm serious. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if you're inflexible, you just feel like there's certain things you can't do. Like, you just obviously fucking can't do yoga, right? But what's happened is I stuck with it because my friend's doing the course. He's a teacher, and so he's a cool guy, so I just kind of stuck with it, and I kept, you know, just kind of going back to class. And basically the way I look at a lot of things in life is that it's not so much about what you do once you get there. It's like basically just getting there is half the fucking battle, right? So if I just get to the gym, I end up getting a good workout in. You know what I mean? If I just get to the fucking gym, so that's my mantra, is get to the gym. And I think of it as like something like taking a shower, right? Once I get into the shower, I'm only going to do one fucking thing. You know, once I'm in there, I'm going to take a shower, you know? And I think a lot of things in life are like that, you know? So, you know, for me, just simply getting to the yoga class solves like 99% of the problems, because once I'm there, maybe it's social pressure, maybe it's like my desire to succeed or whatever the fuck it is. Once I'm there, I'm kind of like going to try my best, you know what I mean? I'm not going to like sit, I'm not like these guys, like sometimes people come to the class and they bail out because they can't handle it, right? Or they rest. And I didn't know anything about this because it was just me and the teacher in the beginning. But what happened was, as new people have joined, I realized some people don't finish the course. They just kind of like leave in the middle because they think they're going to pass out or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? And dudes too, man. Fucking guys, man. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like, I would never even think about that. Once I'm there, I'm going to finish the fucking thing, right? I'm going for it, right? And so, yeah, so what it got me to think about was not only the fact that there's a lot of things in life that are difficult, and I mean difficult, like fucking yoga, I'm telling you, like, it's a different kind of difficult for me. It's like overcoming a lot of shit in my mind, because I had yoga associated with like political leanings. I had it associated with the fact that it wasn't for me because I'm not flexible, you know, and you know, that I don't know, it's just like I look at yoga classes as being kind of retarded before. You know, I'd see people in the yoga class, I couldn't understand what the fuck they're doing, right? Why are they even, why aren't they lifting weights or getting some exercise, right? But I understand now. I really understand it. It's really, I'm glad I had an open mind enough to try it, because it's really fucking great. But the lesson for me is that it's always good to try new things, you know? It always is fucking good to try. And when you do it, you have to go through that fucking thing where you're a total idiot in the beginning, right? Where it totally sucks and you look like an asshole, you know? I mean, like, really look like an asshole, you know? And you have to handle that kind of shame and just kind of hang in there, and then believe that other people can do this, so you can somehow eventually do this, right? And and then when you do, it's amazing fucking feeling like of accomplishment, you know? I can't really describe, but I'm super stoked that I fucking started, actually, you know? So, you know, but the thing is like, here's the deal. Okay, I heard some girls talking the other day, and we were talking about what it takes for a woman to be attractive to a man. And I was saying, like, Western women just don't try hard enough, you know. They're just like, they're just not trying hard enough. The competition is too tough globally. It's kind of like Chinese labor is too low for Americans, right? And the overseas women are willing to give more than women that are coddled in like rich countries, right? In general, it's not true with every country, and obviously it's not true with every woman, but it tends to be a trend, right? And so what I heard the complaint that I got is that basically when I would tell women what I really want or what I expect, like I expect a woman to be skinny, basically 40 kilograms. So whatever that is in pounds, it's 90 something pounds, right? So being tiny and also being flexible. So being able to touch their toes and, you know, yoga and stuff like that, I think it's super essential for a lot of reasons when it comes to sex, because a woman, when she opens up her hips, she becomes much more orgasmic, and it's just much better for her. It's like the women's hips are really important, right? And yoga and the opening up of them is super, super important for a woman to feel good, get pregnant. I mean, everything that's fucking healthy for a woman, right? All the natural things that would happen, right? So what the girls were saying is, and obviously dressing fashionable, right? You know, whatever the cool fashion is of the day, right? Dressing fucking fashionable, you know? These are typical stuff that, you know, anybody who's trying to improve their life does, right? They get into shape, they try to get flexible, they wear, you know, fashionable clothing. It's fucking very, very, they get a haircut that looks good instead of just kind of kidding themselves on some bullshit haircut, which a lot of Western women do. I mean, really, if you look at Western women's hair, it's pretty embarrassing compared to like Japanese or Chinese women, the way they care for their hair. It's pretty, I'm serious, like it's pretty fucking embarrassing. Like sometimes I think they're like clowns, you know, some women, you know, it's like, what the fuck, you know? I could look at like fucking bouffant fucking bullshit, right? I don't believe it. But either way, that's a sign of a real shortcoming on that one. But what I want to say is that the women were saying that when I told them what I think guys find attractive, they said, you know, that why should we do all that for men? You know, that was the response. I mean, these girls were cool. Like, we were having a nice conversation. It was an interesting conversation. They really wanted to know, because they respect me, and they know I'm no dummy. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, you know, these chicks know me for a long time, and they're like, well, so like, what do we need to do? And I said, well, you know, these are the things that I think are attractive. And I described all the things, you know, being 40 kilos or less, being very flexible, the ability to touch the floor and bend your legs, do a spread eagle, completely splits, you know, against the wall or whatever. You know, having like long, pretty hair, keeping the hair nice, you know, making sure you don't dye it too much so it doesn't get too fucked up, you know. You have to take care of hair, you know. It's super important, right? If you dye it all the time and thrash it, it's gonna get, you know, you always like put it in hot curlers and everything, it's gonna mess it up, right? So having long hair is difficult. A lot of people say that their hair is not good, but it's actually not their hair, it's the way they care for their hair, right? Any beautician will tell you that, but it's like not popular to say, right? It's easier to say, oh yeah, you have, you know, you need some help, right? You need to buy this, you need to buy that, or, you know, it's not your fault. And that's the kind of thing that consumers want to hear, and that's the thing that sells products, right? Is saying stuff like that, right? So right, so okay, so the women said that, and I just started thinking about it afterwards. You know, we had a nice conversation, it was totally cool, and I thought about it afterwards. I thought, you know what, I thought the reason why I do a lot of things I do, like the reason why I lift weights, the reason why I do yoga, the reason why I cut out things when I'm having a problem in my life, you know, like I really tried to read a lot and I try to improve myself. I don't do it for women. I found that, and also I want to earn money, I want to succeed, you know, and I work my ass off, but it's not because of women although all these things women find attractive, right? So I realized, like, I think women, a lot of modern women these days, they in a sense, it's not their fault. They're in demand. I mean, if you put any chick on Tinder with like a halfway sexy picture, she's gonna have like 500 guys like messaging her in 2 minutes, right? So that doesn't create a lot of motivation to improve yourself, right? And that's the same thing with guys, right? If you're from a wealthy family, and you know your parents give you everything, you don't have that same desire to kick ass, right? You just don't, right? It's like you don't, you know what I mean? How could you? It's so rare to have a rich kid who's willing to work his fucking balls off, put his ass on the line, eat fucking oatmeal every day and fucking egg whites to make a company succeed, right? You know, to take the money that he earns from the company and use that back into the company instead of using outside money, right? But that's what it takes. That's what it fucking takes, in my experience. To do a startup, you need pain. The difference between a non-startup and a startup is pain. You know, when you have a difficult situation, that's when you fucking get your shit together. You know what I mean? There's just no other way about it, you know? If I didn't have a problem a few months ago, I wouldn't have fixed it. I would have just kept carried on because things were fucking fine before that. When I realized I had a problem that I needed to solve, that's when I got serious about it, right? I needed that problem, right? The problem with a startup is money, and the problem with women would be that they're not in demand. And I see a lot of MGTOW channels saying things like, you know, women are begging to date men, and they're you know, desperate and this and that. I don't know what planet these guys are from. I think it's just totally wishful thinking. I understand the feeling, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was that way. Because the reason why I wish it was that way is because I wish that women had the motivation to improve themselves. But they just don't have it. You know, it's partly because of guys, it's because of guys' sex drive is a lot of the reasons. Guys just are gonna go with them no matter what, right? Maybe there'll be a MGTOW movement. There's gonna be a certain amount of guys that are in the MGTOW movement, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a limit, right? It's not like every guy's gonna be MGTOW and every guy's gonna turn down Chance to bone her because she doesn't have her shit together, right? It's more like millions. The way to think about it, I mean, there's just millions and millions of guys who are willing to kiss her ass no matter what stupid shit she says, right? What does that do to a person? Does that help her to improve herself? Does that help her to motivate herself? Or does that screw her up, right? Of course it screws her up, right? It's not really her fault in a way. I mean, we're all in the marketplace, right? You know what I mean? We're in the marketplace of desire. We're in the social marketplace, right? Just like you can't blame a rich kid for not wanting to fucking, you know, like live in a fucking room with no windows and eat oatmeal and freak out and not sleep because he's too worried about paying the bills and, you know, fucking just keep grinding away, finding a way to turn revenue, to turn traffic into revenue, or to turn, you know what I mean, customers, lookers into buyers, or whatever the most difficult challenge he has is, right? These are fucking hard things, man. They only happen if you need them to happen, right? That's why you have so many successful small companies and you don't have a lot of successful startups inside big companies, because everybody gets a salary. You get a salary, you don't have that kind of need. You don't have that hungry desire. You know, people say, like, I watched Peter Thiel talking about AI, actually. It was a good video, actually, but he said that the reason why his book 0 to 1, which I read, which is great, he said that it's why don't, you know, big companies have the innovation. He said his take was that there's too much internal politics, and like you can't get, you know, you just get made fun of, you don't get support and things like that. And I definitely, that would be true. There's no question politics are brutal, but what's more important to me as an entrepreneur, as a long-term entrepreneur, and is that, fuck, man, if you need the pain, you need the fucking wolf at the door. You know what I mean? If you ever want to get your shit together, get the wolf at the door. You know what I mean? Like, give somebody a gun and tell them to hunt you if you want to learn how to hide. You know what I mean? Like, get the wolf at the door. Find a way to get the wolf at the door. And usually the only way to get the wolf at the door is to really have a wolf at the door. You know, it's like the old, right? So, you know, I think that the problem is that women, as being the fairer sex, you know, for so many hundreds of thousands of years, having guys chase them and falling over themselves to give them stuff, is the cause of their downfall. That's why you see so many overweight women who they don't really try to improve themselves. It's kind of like, whenever I see a woman talking about improve herself, you know, like I saw this thing called Revenge Body, right? It's a TV show. I didn't watch the TV show, but I saw an article, then I looked it up because I was going to do a podcast on it about Revenge Body, which is basically like your ex leaves you and then you get into great shape and get a boob job or whatever to make him feel, you know, bad, you know. And it's a thing, right? It's already a TV show, right? So the Kardashian or something, you know. So, you know, I know that women will do this kind of shit, but if you look at the way they look, they're revenge body. So there was a good Revenge Body article, and the woman, when she was done, you know, with her revenge body, she went from being like 3 million pounds to being 160 pounds. Now, and she was lifting heavy weights, right? But the thing is as a guy who's in shape and who knows how to get in shape, when you are still fat, you don't really want to be lifting heavy, you know, because it's like you kind of like, I don't know, it just like makes it harder to burn the fat off. You know, the best thing to do is burn the fat off first, get that done, and then you'll see gains really fast and you'll look good, right? And also, your main problem is not muscle. Your main problem is being fat. Her main problem is being fat, right? She's like so fat that her husband cheated on her, and then now she's trying to make him feel bad, right? But this is a nice woman, right? She lets herself go to pot as soon as she goes with him, which the story didn't say, but I'm sure she looked better when she was single. So she like didn't care about him at all. Then was unhealthy, didn't care about herself. And then when there was payback for this, all of a sudden she's only reason why she wants to get better is to make other people feel bad. So what that is basically like you know, there was a guy who flipped a house next to my house, and I remember they sold it, and then this guy came in. He was a flipper, right? And I had never really seen a flipper in person. Like, I never really knew much about house flippers. I know people buy houses and they flip them, fix them up a little bit, you know, and then they sell them. But I didn't really realize how brutal the flipping thing is. What he did was, the foundation of the house was bad. It was the next door neighbor, so I knew. The foundation of the house was leaking and bad, right? So what he did was he put new flooring on top of the bad foundation. And so then, of course, the new person bought the house, and they noticed that it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like there was a problem, right? There was a problem with the house, and it was a fundamental problem. So the floor they put over the top of the broken foundation wasn't fixing the problem. It was leaking and this and that, right? Uneven, and you know, the house was a mess, right? And so what he needed to do, what the new guy needed to do, it cost him a lot of money. He had to tear out this new floor, which was unusable, nice wooden floor, on top of a shitty foundation, right? So then he tore it out, and then he had to re-pour the foundation of the whole house. Cost him a fortune. Put new pylons in deep, you know, it cost him tons of money. I don't remember what it cost him. I forgot, he told me once, but it was a shit ton of money, right? And the reason why, because he was tricked by these fake fixes, these fake coverings. You know, that's what I see basically women doing these days, is like, you know, even this Revenge Body, she was 160 pounds when she was done. And I looked at her and I would never want to fucking her in my bed. No fucking way. I mean, I would much rather, I'd rather watch Revenge Body TV show, The Kardashians, which I would fucking hate watching. I'd rather watch that than have her in my bed. You know what I mean? I'd much rather sleep, or I'd much rather eat. In fact, I might even consider moving if she was in my room. You know what I mean? Getting a new place, because I just don't want to fucking be around her, right? You can just tell she's angry. She's fat still, but she thinks she's skinny. That's the fucking thing. She's 160 pounds, right? A woman, 160 pounds. No woman is skinny when she's 160 pounds. That woman's bone structure, she should be maximum 110 pounds. If not in the 90s, or, you know, lower lower hundreds, right? But women have got so used to being overweight and thinking that they're supposed to be sexy and kind of ordering guys around and saying, you know, you have to find me sexy kind of thing, that, you know, guys don't have any choice, so they just kind of go along with it, that they don't even know anymore what is a healthy weight. You know, a healthy weight is fucking pretty light, man. It's like, it's something you don't even see in the West anymore. You see it in Asia, you still see it in Asia, but you don't see it in the West. It's just so rare. Once in a while, I'll see it with a vegan girl. I will see a healthy weight with a vegan girl. You know, I'm not talking about craziness. I'm not talking about hurting yourself. I'm not talking about unhealthy shit. I'm not talking about diet pills. I'm not talking about taking crystal meth. I'm just talking about normal, healthy weight, right? And a lot of vegan girls are the only Western girls that I know that look naturally healthy to me, you know? This is kind of a ghetto street here. This is the full ghetto street. At night, there's all these prostitutes like standing here. So I walk by, it's fucking hilarious at night. They're like the low-level prostitutes that stand here, you know? Like, they can't work in bars because they got AIDS or whatever. So they stand here. They've been kicked out of bars, right? So they're low level. It's like, it's scary, but I still think it's a hoot to walk by. I think it's a fucking good laugh. You know, so I walk down this road at night sometimes just for a fucking, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, holy shit, what guys will put up with and guys will do, you know, like, you know, any guy with a brain, you know, oh god, guys don't have brains, that's a problem. But so yeah, so there it is, you know, women have basically don't understand they're overweight. They don't understand. They don't want to understand, and they don't want to change because we're men, because they know that they can get a man no problem, right? It doesn't take anything to get a man. I mean, men are just waiting around, you know, to get some pussy from her. Are you kidding me? Guys will fucking, you know, start taking her out to dinner and shit. It doesn't matter if she's 160 pounds, 190 pounds. You know, guys are like, hey, she'll give me a blowjob, that's good. You know, so that, obviously, that's what keeps women down, you know, really, is the kind of like, the fact that no matter what they do, they're still attractive. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a company that gets lazy with their product because everybody buys it, no matter what, right? But they don't realize the reason why they're buying the product because they don't have any other options, right? Or they don't feel they have any other options, right? Like maybe it's the only food in the area. Maybe it's the only brand of drink there. Maybe the guy's super fucking thirsty, right? Whatever the reason is, maybe it's the only internet, you know, choice they have for their house that works, right? So they have to take it and they have to fucking suck it up, right? But reality, they fucking hate it, right? And that's what's happening with women. They don't understand. They are not pleasing men. Guys are unhappy. They've been fucking letting themselves go to pot for years, and that it's starting to now form a movement, which is the MGTOW movement, and it's a serious thing. I think it's going to have an effect on women, but again, I don't think that you should hold your breath about this thing causing people to change. Expected women will not change, basically. You know, go about your life. Do not have false hope that women are going to get their shit together, because there's always going to be some guy to take your place. Once you get your shit together, once you figure things out, there's another knucklehead who's going to start funneling cash into her bank account, paying for her shit, listening to her shit, telling her she doesn't have a big ass when she's 160 fucking pounds. She's fucking fat as fuck. And he's going to tell her she looks so great, she lost so much weight. He's not going to tell her the truth, right? I mean, like, who would? I wouldn't tell her the truth. Like, nobody will. Her dad won't, her mom, nobody will. Maybe some other girl will, but no guys will, that's for sure. And guys will put up with it, which makes it even fucking worse. So, there you go. Guys, I think the thing I would take away if I was a woman listening to this, I would say that you want to improve yourself. Not for guys, but guys will appreciate it. So you want to improve yourself for yourself. You want to be flexible so that your hips can shift around in a sexy way so that you can feel sexy. So you can look in the mirror and feel good about yourself. And so that you won't have a heart attack and you won't have a stroke, and that you'll live longer, and that your life will be better, and your sense of humor is going to be better because you're going to feel better, and you're going to sleep better, and you'll feel things more. You know, when the more unhealthy you get, you don't taste food, you don't feel things, the better shape you get, and the more flexible you get. if you do yoga for a year, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll start to sense things at a deeper level and feel the wind, feel the, you know what I mean? Like you feel things. And it's awesome. You know, feeling life is one of the fucking greatest joys, you know, enjoying life. And then of course having guys fucking drooling all over you is fucking a good thing too, right? And other women who are just thinking about, basically from the perspective of a house flipper, let's do some fake shit to fool some people for a short period of time so that he'll make a decision to be with me. And then once he does that, I can fuck him over with the legal system. This is the basic thinking of most women today. You know, it's like they have no, they've got it, it's not just their thinking, it's like the reality. They can fuck him over, get a ton of money, and it doesn't matter how they look, it doesn't matter. The guy's gonna put up with it, the legal system doesn't care, nobody cares. And everybody just moves on. So there you go. Don't be fooled by this shit. I should do another episode on this, on don't be fooled by women's fucking house flipping techniques of fixing your body up. Because young guys, it's difficult to tell the difference between a natural woman and a woman who's, you know, pulling a flip fixer up or fake thing on you. You know, I know when I was younger I couldn't tell the difference, and now I know the difference very, very well. So either way, guys, hey, thanks so much for fucking watching. I really, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And it's like, dude, I wake up every morning, I check out the fucking comments. I love it. I fucking love this community. So thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.